Vail. This is vailychat.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Ah, very nice.
So good.
Sounded good. The vocal cords are officially warm.
We are ready to roll. Welcome into the deep dive, everyone. We're just thrilled you're spending some time with us today.
Absolutely.
Because today is Tuesday, May 19, 2026. And, well, we have a pretty fascinating journey mapped out for you.
We really do.
So to set the stage here, I want you to imagine living inside a literal postcard.
Sounds pretty ideal.
Right. I mean, you wake up every morning to this mountain view that people from the city will drop, thousands of dollars to look at for just a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
It sounds like perfection. But what happens behind the scenes when the ski lifts actually stop, the snow melts, and the actual grueling cost of existing inside that postcard starts eating you alive?
Yeah, that's the real question. Our mission today is to explore how a world-class resort community, specifically the Eagle River Valley, navigates the whiplash of extreme environmental volatility. We're looking at how they tackle the hidden mental health toll of living in paradise and how they build community resilience through arts and culture during that often overlooked shoulder season.
It's just such a critical transitional moment for the Valley right now.
Yeah.
We're basically observing a community actively redefining its entire identity in real time. I mean, they are caught right at this very volatile intersection of climate realities, economic pressure, and, cultural evolution.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the sheer meteorological whiplash happening literally right outside the window today.
Oh, it's wild out there.
It really is. If you're in Vail right now, you are looking at highs of around 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But as this cold front sweeps through the high country, there's a legitimate chance of snow showers down in town.
Right, in mid-May.
And if you look higher up, Trail Ridge Road is currently closed. Yeah, they're seeing over a foot of new snow up at Rainbow Curve this morning. So a foot of snow up high and 53 degrees in the valley.
Just incredible.
Oh, and a quick local note before we really dive into the data. If you were in the Gypsum area, someone found a very handsome male dog wandering around.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but he is safe. He's currently hanging out at the Eagle County shelter. So if you're missing your buddy, go check on him. But anyway, back to the weather. It just feels incredibly chaotic.
Chaotic is definitely the right word for it. And I mean, while a spring snow shower in the Rockies isn't entirely unprecedented,
Sure.
You really have to look at the macro level environmental data to understand the underlying tension here. These late spring snow showers are happening against a backdrop of a severe, frankly historic ecological crisis.
Right.
The Colorado River Basin snowpack is currently sitting at less than 50% of its historical median.
Wait. Less than half for the entire basin.
Less than half, yeah. It is a 41-year historic low.
Yeah.
And the mechanism we use to measure this, it paints an even bleaker picture, honestly.
How so?
Well, the region relies on SNOTEL, which stands for snow telemetry. These are they're automated backcountry weather stations.
Okay.
They don't just stick a digital yardstick in the snow to measure the depth. They actually use pressure-sensing snow pillows to weigh the water content inside the snowpack.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's what we call the snow water equivalent. And local SNOTEL telemetry confirmed the region's snowpack was completely melted out by March 31st.
March 31st.
Yes, that is the earliest date in recorded history. So seeing snowflakes today it's just profoundly ironic.
It really is. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier. It's like finding a $5 bill in your winter coat when your bank account is overdrawn.
That is a great way to put it.
Right. It's a nice surprise. It brings a momentary smile to your face. But mechanically, it absolutely does not solve the systemic crisis.
Exactly.
That $5 doesn't pay the mortgage, and a dusting of snow in mid-May doesn't change the fact that the underlying soil is so parched that any spring snowmelt just gets absorbed by the dirt before it ever reaches the rivers.
That analogy hits the nail on the head. The systemic drought trend remains entirely intact, as do the severe summer wildfire risks that inevitably follow a March meltdown.
Terrifying.
It is. And what people often miss is how this environmental volatility bleeds directly into the logistical reality of just moving around the area.
Which brings up a crucial safety point for anyone driving up the mountain today to take in those stunning Colorado views.
Yes, please listen to this part.
Despite the calendar saying we are basically at Memorial Day, Code 15 passenger vehicle traction laws remain in mandatory effect along the I-70 mountain corridor all the way through May 30 run.
And drivers from the city constantly underestimate this. They assume May means clear pavement and normal summer driving conditions.
Right, because it's warm down in Denver.
Exactly. But the physical data shows a 358-foot stopping distance differential between compliant winter tires and non-compliant summer tires under these specific cold, wet conditions.
Let me stop you right there, because 358 feet,
Yeah.
that is more than an entire football field of sliding.
Yeah.
How does just having the wrong tire tread create a gap that massive?
It really comes down to the physics of the rubber compounds. So summer tires are designed to dissipate heat.
Okay.
When the temperature drops below 45 degrees, the rubber in a summer tire literally hardens into something resembling, well, like hard plastic.
Yikes.
Right. It cannot grip the micro crevices in the asphalt. So when you combine that loss of friction with the ongoing West Vail Pass auxiliary lane construction,
Well, that construction is endless.
and the unpredictability of a spring storm cycle, that traction law isn't just bureaucratic red tape. It is an absolutely vital public safety measure to prevent massive pileups.
What's fascinating here is... Wait, no, I'm stealing your line.
Well, go ahead.
No, you take it. What is fascinating here...
What's fascinating here is how the constant low-level stress of navigating this environment, the severe drought, the looming wildfire threats, white-knuckling it down I-70 on bald tires, all that endless construction, it creates this highly unique psychological pressure cooker for the people who actually live there. Absolutely. You're supposed to be living in this globally renowned paradise, but the baseline operational stress of just surviving the logistics is incredibly high.
And that physical and logistical danger bleeds directly into psychological burnout, which transitions us perfectly to how the community is actively addressing that pressure cooker today.
Right.
Because they aren't just ignoring it anymore.
No, not at all.
And that brings us to our marquee event for this evening. If you are in the Valley at 5:00 p.m. today at the Weston Riverfront in Avon, there's a panel happening called Local Legends, Age of Resilience.
Such an important event.
And this isn't your standard rah-rah go team sports panel.
Mm-hmm.
This is a deeply serious, structured conversation about mental health, supported by Speak Up, Reach Out, and Howard Head Sports Medicine.
The lineup they've assembled for this is extraordinary. I mean, you have Olympians, Michaela Schifrin and Liz Lemley.
Heavy hitters.
Right, sitting right alongside Paralympians Meg and Spencer Gustafson.
And what's so striking to me is the timing of Michaela Schifrin's involvement. She literally just secured her record 6th World Cup Crystal Globe.
Yeah, incredible achievement.
From the outside, you'd think she's basically bulletproof right now, top of the world. But she recently noted that she is entering what she calls her curiosity phase.
Yes, and that curiosity phase is a deliberate pivot away from just pure, grueling physical execution.
Interesting.
She is openly exploring the mental and emotional architecture required to sustain a long-term career. They're directly addressing what sociologists have termed the paradise paradox.
The paradise paradox. Okay, let me take a swing at explaining this, because on the surface, it almost sounds like an oxymoron.
Go for it.
I'm guessing this refers to the psychological whiplash of living in one of the most physically beautiful places on Earth, but being way too stressed about survival to actually enjoy it.
Pretty much.
Like, you're surrounded by people on vacation, so you feel a tremendous amount of guilt if you are personally struggling.
You've captured the core of it perfectly. The paradise paradox refers to the statistical reality of surprisingly high rates of mental health struggles, depression, and anxiety in seemingly idyllic resort communities.
And so counterintuitive.
From the outside, a ski town looks like a permanent, carefree vacation. But you dive into the mechanics of living there and you find extreme wealth disparities. You've got locals serving billionaires while living with 4 roommates.
Yeah.
You have highly transient populations, which makes it incredibly difficult to build deep, long-term friendships. Add in geographic isolation and the relentless social pressure to constantly project happiness because you live in paradise.
Right, because you're supposed to be living the dream.
Exactly. And you have a recipe for profound isolation.
Now, if you're listening to this from an apartment in a major city, you might be rolling your eyes a bit. You might be thinking, boo-hoo, the people living in the beautiful ski resort are sad.
I know, people do say that.
But the data and the tragic outcomes in these high-altitude towns show a much, much darker reality.
They really do. It's a genuine public health crisis. And what this Edge of Resilience panel represents is a massive cultural shift away from the traditional mountain town ethos.
Which was what, exactly?
Historically, this culture celebrated purely physical, athletic grit. It's this toxic idea that if you get hurt or feel burnt out, you just rub dirt on it, push through the pain, and ski down.
Which works right up until you completely break.
Precisely. So instead, these elite athletes are pivoting toward what they call intentional practice.
Intentional practice.
Yeah. This means actively integrating mindful movement, reflective journaling, and restorative meditation into a daily routine. It's treating mental resilience with the exact same rigorous diagnostic structure as physical training.
I really love that concept. It's like realizing you can't just keep redlining a high-performance Ferrari engine on the track every single day. At some point, no matter how good the engine is, you have to plug it into the diagnostic machine, update the software, and actually check the internal wear and tear.
That's a fantastic way to look at it. You just cannot outski poor mental health.
But let me push back a little here on behalf of the listeners.
Okay.
Because if world-class athletes, people who literally throw themselves down icy mountains for a living, who have sponsors and access to the best sports psychologists in the entire world,
Yeah.
if they require a highly structured approach to stress management, what does that mean for the average local? The person who is just trying to survive the housing crisis and make rent during the quiet shoulder season.
That is the essential question the town is wrestling with right now. Because you're right, the average resident doesn't have an Olympic medal or an endorsement deal.
Definitely not.
They're dealing with a severe housing shortage. According to recent town data, roughly 95% of locally owned homes convert to investment properties the absolute moment they are sold.
95%. That's staggering.
It is. So they're dealing with that, the inflation of basic groceries, the environmental anxiety we just unpacked, and the massive seasonal ebb and flow of their income.
So how does the average person practice resilience when they are literally just trying to keep the lights on?
The answer is that mental health isn't just addressed in formal panels or clinical therapy sessions. I mean, those are vital tools, yes.
Right.
But true community resilience requires a strong, active social fabric. It requires communal joy.
Yeah.
People need accessible, affordable outlets to just blow off steam together, especially during the shoulder season when the ski slopes are closed, the restaurants lock their doors, and the town feels eerily empty.
Which leads us beautifully into the cultural heartbeat of this community. Because if there is one thing a mountain town knows how to do, it is blow off steam.
No, definitely.
We have to talk about the 5th Annual Vail Comedy Festival coming up this Memorial Day weekend. It's running May 22nd through the 24th.
It is such a brilliant strategic placement for a festival, too. They drop it right in that dead zone window when the winter crowds have entirely left, but the summer tourist rush hasn't fully kicked into gear yet.
And they are bringing in some serious heavy hitters. Over 20 comedians are going to be there.
Wow.
We're talking headliners like Casey Balsham, whose comedy album hit #1, Tom Thacker, and Robbie Slowick, who has written for HBO and Comedy Central.
That's a great lineup.
Right. And it's not just happening in Vail. Up at the 10 Mile Music Hall, they're doing a Drunk Prov event, plus a totally free show from the Uptown Toodaloo Trio. It's this massive valley-wide activation.
But what makes this festival unique is that it's not just a standard string of stand-up sets. The organizers have actually expanded the programming in a way that ties directly back to what we were just discussing regarding the Paradise Paradox.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they have integrated a component called Film at Vail.
Yes, I was reading about this. They are screening short films at the International Ballroom at the Lodge at Vail, and one of the featured shorts is called Tommy Hoarder.
What I love about this approach is that these screenings are specifically designed to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health in the arts and the local community.
It creates a brilliant psychological bridge. Because comedy naturally lowers a person's defenses, you know?
Totally.
You go to the festival for the laughs, you go for the entertainment with your friends, but while you are there, you're engaging with art that confronts the very real psychological struggles that creatives and locals face.
Yeah.
When you sit in a dark room and laugh at an absurd situation on screen, it's basically communal processing disguised as a night out.
It really is.
Yeah.
And beyond the mental health benefits, this kind of shoulder season programming is absolute lifeblood for the local economy.
It is crucial.
Because typically when people are sitting at home searching online for, what to do in Colorado or looking up typical Colorado activities, they are searching for peak season experiences.
Right, skiing or rafting. Exactly. They want extreme winter sports. Or maybe they want summer hiking content featuring pristine green Colorado scenery. They aren't usually planning a trip around a comedy festival in late May.
Right. The shoulder season has historically been an economic ghost town. The revenue simply dries up for a solid 2 months.
And that dry spell has real, tangible consequences. Just looking at the Realtor real estate monitors right now, they are reporting a very slow start for mountain town listings.
Yeah, it's been tough.
The local housing market is feeling this lingering winter slump, primarily because of those incredibly poor snow totals we talked about earlier. People aren't buying vacation homes if they think it's never going to snow.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, events like the Vail Comedy Festival aren't just fun diversions. They are highly strategic municipal survival tools.
Absolutely.
To understand the mechanics of this, you really have to look at the town's budget. The town of Vail has openly identified a $5.5 million budget shortfall due to the historic drop in skier visitation this past winter.
Because municipalities like this run on a consumption tax model.
Right.
If people aren't buying lift tickets, eating high-end dinners, or sleeping in luxury hotel beds, the town literally cannot pave its roads or pay its essential workers.
Exactly. The financial reports showed a 25% collapse in Rocky Mountain skier visits.
Wow, 25%.
Yes, that is a massive structural hit to the local economy. So how does a municipality survive that kind of volatility?
Yeah, what do?
They have to fundamentally decouple their economy from peak winter snowfall. They simply cannot rely on the weather cooperating anymore. Snowtel is telling them the snow is gone.
Right.
So the town has instituted a 2026 strategic plan that heavily emphasizes resiliency. They are actively funding the development of shoulder season programming, like the comedy festivals, film screenings, and music events, that appeals to a much broader demographic and doesn't require 2 feet of fresh powder to be successful.
So what does this all mean? When you pull back and look at the whole board, it means Vail is actively evolving its identity far beyond just being a premier winter sports destination.
They have to.
Right. The changing climate is forcing their hand financially, but the community is responding by building a more diverse, culturally rich, year-round environment.
They are transforming profound vulnerability into adaptability.
I love that.
Whether it's through the Edge of Resilience panel teaching intentional practice to combat the Paradise Paradox, or the Comedy Festival driving economic trafficking and mental health awareness through film, they're weaving a much tighter, more resilient social safety net.
It's a fascinating, complex evolution to watch unfold. So let's recap the through line of what we've unpacked today, because it is all deeply connected.
Sounds good.
We started with the extreme environmental reality. The 41-year low in the snowpack, the Snowtel data showing an unprecedented early meltdown, and the logistical nightmare of late spring snowstorms colliding with mandatory traction laws.
Which then laid the necessary groundwork for understanding the psychological pressure cooker of the Paradise Paradox. We saw how the community is confronting that baseline stress head-on, with elite athletes like Michaela Schifrin reframing mental health as intentional diagnostic practice rather than just a weakness to be ignored.
And finally, we explored how that concept of resilience is put into literal action culturally and economically. The community is using events like the Vail Comedy Festival and Drunk Prov to build communal joy, process mental health struggles through film, and critically decouple the town's financial survival from the unpredictability of the weather.
It truly is a real-time masterclass in civic and psychological adaptation.
It really is. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over based on all of this.
Okay.
Right now, as part of the town's 60th anniversary celebrations, an artist named Pat Milbury, who actually used to be a pro snowboarder, is building a 4-foot metal sculpture over a golden peak.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And the sculpture is titled, "The Only Way Down is Up."
That is a remarkably fitting title for a mountain town navigating an existential crisis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's explicitly meant to symbolize the resilience of the community. So as you process everything we discussed today, consider this question. As a town physically rebuilds its monuments, its public art, and its physical spaces to reflect resilience, how does the actual physical infrastructure of a town actively shape the psychological resilience of the people living inside it?
Oh, that's a great question.
Does the environment we intentionally build around us ultimately determine how well we can weather the storms, both literal and figurative?
That is a profound, lingering question, because the physical spaces we inhabit and the art we interact with undoubtedly shape our internal landscapes and our capacity to endure.
It is definitely something to think about the next time you are walking through the center of your own town. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the Eagle River Valley.
Yes, thanks everyone.
We really hope you found some valuable insights today. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to keep exploring these kinds of complex local ecosystems, please take a moment to like, share, and follow vailychat.
It really helps us out.
It helps us keep bringing you these deep dives. Stay safe on the roads out there, check those tires, and we will see you next time.